So everyone's always wanted a chance to get into Aparri's den. He may have clicked hundreds to thousands of times just to get in. But there was one time in particular that stood out the most. So, I decided that I was going to go to Aparri's den, or at least try to. I clicked on maybe a few times, maybe 7, and it popped up to the loading screen. I felt really happy because, no one ever gets into Aparri's den unless they're lucky. But there was something wrong with the loading screen. It had a picture of Aparri with blood everywhere, with the words, "You belong to me." I was creeped out automatically, and I was worried about what I've done. But I kept going. Once the world loaded, I saw almost a sea of gray animals. Pale and nothing. Not markings, no eyes, no nothing. Basically just their silhouettes. There were so many of all different types of animals. I asked why they were like this. They said one word, all at the same time. Taken. I was already sweating at this point. I tried clicking my den or the world map, but nothing would pop up. And I figured I was stuck here, and I had to do something. So I asked, how do I get out? And they said, no, all at the same time as well. I was very creeped out, and I tried shutting down my computer. I turned on and logged back in. Turns out I was in the same place I was before. I was really scared at this point. I tried resetting the page. Nothing worked. I called one of my friends to tell them what happened. Of course, they laughed at me, thinking, this is just another joke. So I hung up, and I figured that I'd just have to explore the rest of the den. It was a castle, dark castle, of red and dark red and all these shades of red. As I went up the stairs, I quickly saw something at the very top. It was Aparri, sitting away from me at the wall. I was afraid to go up there and ask what was going on, because I'm pretty sure that was not a good thing to do. So I went back down and asked, why is Aparri staring at a wall? Of course, none of them answered, just with a few dots. So I decided to gain enough courage to go up there. So I went up, got beside Aparri, and said, what are you doing here? He didn't reply. I was very confused and a little bit scared. I asked again, what's with all those animals down there? He finally answered with, they're mine. And I was literally terrified. But I was not so discouraged. After all, this could be just a little prank. Of course, which probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't click a million times. So I went back down and saw that literally the sea of silhouette gray animals disappeared. And now I knew that this was not a prank. That many jammers can't just disappear. And even if they told them to, 1 or 2 would still be behind to laugh about it, but there was something wrong. I went back up to Aparri. This time he was facing towards me. My heart sank as I saw his eyes were black and blood was dripping all the way down his beard. I realized that on closer inspection, some of his clothes and hats were torn. His top hat had holes and scratches in it. His beard was ruffled and torn, and his worn looked even worse than it did before. His cuffs had holes and mold and all this crazy stuff. I backed away and I said, what are you doing? And he said, you are mine too. I then tried my hardest to get out. I closed everything, all my tabs, and I just didn't want to see it. But it wouldn't let me click anywhere. And Aparri inched closer and closer, and I tried moving away, but my animal was stuck to the ground, as if I was super glued to the floor. As he was almost a few steps away, he stopped, and he said, "Goodbye." Then, all these fuzzy noises started. It was so loud, I took off my headphones, and I waited. He didn't move, just the screaming sounds of blur and just messing up. I was terrified. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know why Aparri would do this. And I asked, the only option I had was to write on the chat. And I said, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, "I want you." Assuming he just wanted my account, the things on my account, such as rares and betas. I thought really I was fine. But since I was home alone, my parents were on vacation, there was just something that wasn't right to me. I heard a door creak open slowly, and I was confused, thinking it was my parents back really early from my vacation. I then said, "Hey Mom, hey Dad, welcome home." I didn't hear a response. It was just a long, quiet moment, except I heard so many different things that weren't quiet. And if only it was quiet. I heard the creaking of the floor, the shutting of the door, the wind howling. I was really uneasy at this moment. I was just hoping that it was my parents, or at least someone not Aparri. And then I felt someone brush against my hair and then land their hand on my shoulder. I was shaking and was too afraid to turn around. I was nearly petrified, staring at the screen. And then I realized Aparri turned his head to look directly at the screen. Then I heard a whisper in my ear, "You are mine now."